Why your after-meal blood sugar matters more than HbA1c. The truth doctors are not talking about. If it is a simple carbohydrate meal, like white bread, white rice or wheat flour-based product, blood sugar will peak in around 2 hours. If it is a low GI food with lots of fiber, it may take about 3 hours to peak. It is easy and cheap to check the after-meal blood sugar. If you have a blood sugar meter, better. But even if not, the cost of an after-meal blood sugar, or PPBG test in India at a lab, typically ranges from 75 to 180 rupees. If you have a meter at home, you can measure early morning blood sugar, before meal blood sugar, and after meal blood sugar. By averaging them, you can calculate approximate HbA1c or A1c. There are online calculators to do that, or it is simple arithmetic. Doctors checks your HbA1c, but rarely talks about what happens to your blood sugar after you eat. Most people and doctors think HbA1c tells the whole story about diabetes control. Your blood sugar levels after meals could be far more important for preventing heart attacks and staying alive than your HbA1c numbers. Let me share something fascinating that researchers discovered when they looked at thousands of people with diabetes over many years. They found that people who had poor control of their blood sugar after eating were much more likely to die, even when their overall HbA1c looked pretty good. This discovery changes everything we thought we knew about managing diabetes. Think about what happens in your body every day. You wake up, eat breakfast, and your blood sugar goes up. Then it comes down. You eat lunch, it goes up again. Dinner, same thing. These ups and downs happen to everyone, but in people with diabetes, these spikes can become dangerously high. Your HbA1c measures your average blood sugar over 3 months, but it doesn't tell you about these daily roller coaster rides. Here's where it gets really interesting. Scientists followed people with diabetes for years and discovered something shocking. Those who had high blood sugar spikes after meals had a much higher chance of dying from any cause, not just diabetes complications. But people who only had high fasting blood sugar in the morning didn't show the same increased risk of death. This means what happens after you eat is actually more dangerous than having slightly elevated blood sugar when you wake up. Wait, there is more, but do not forget to hit the like button if you think this video is useful. The research shows us some pretty startling numbers. People with the worst after-meal blood sugar control had significantly higher death rates compared to those who kept their post-meal numbers in check. But people with poor fasting glucose control alone didn't see this same increase in death risk. This tells us that managing those mealtime spikes should be our top priority. Your heart pays a heavy price when blood sugar spikes after meals. Studies tracking people for over 30 years found that even small increases in blood sugar after eating led to more heart attacks and deaths from heart disease. The relationship starts at surprisingly low levels too. Even when after-meal blood sugar was just slightly above 140 mg per deciliter, the risk of dying from heart disease began to climb steadily. But HbA1c doesn't capture these dangerous spikes and crashes. You could have an HbA1c that looks perfectly normal to your doctor, but still be experiencing blood sugar swings that damage your blood vessels and heart every single day. It's like judging how well someone drives by looking at their average speed over a month without knowing that they alternate between crawling at 10 miles per hour and racing at 100 miles per hour. The UK Prospective Diabetes Study, one of the largest diabetes studies ever done, followed thousands of people for decades. They found that reducing HbA1c did lower the risk of heart attacks and death. But when researchers dug deeper into the data, they discovered something even more important. The people who benefited most were those who got their blood sugar under control right from the moment they were diagnosed with diabetes. Waiting even 10 years to improve blood sugar control dramatically reduced the benefits. People who started intensive blood sugar management immediately after diagnosis had a 36% lower risk of death at 20 years compared to those who delayed treatment. But those who waited 10 years before getting serious about control only saw an 8% reduction in death risk. This shows that early action matters enormously, and those early benefits come largely from controlling after-meal blood sugar spikes. The damage from high after-meal blood sugar works in several ways. First, these glucose spikes directly harm the cells lining your blood vessels. When blood sugar shoots up after eating, it creates inflammation and oxidative stress that damages the delicate inner walls of arteries. Over time, this damage accumulates and leads to the hardening and narrowing of arteries that causes heart attacks and strokes. Second, repeated blood sugar spikes make your body less sensitive to insulin. This creates a vicious cycle where you need more and more insulin to control blood sugar, but the insulin becomes less effective. Eventually, your pancreas can't keep up with the demand and diabetes gets worse. But this process starts with those after-meal spikes, not with problems in fasting blood sugar. Third, high blood sugar after meals affects how your body handles fats and cholesterol. When glucose levels spike, your liver produces more harmful cholesterol particles and your blood becomes stickier and more likely to form dangerous clots. These changes happen within hours of eating a meal that causes blood sugar to rise too high. Some groundbreaking research looked at what happens when people take medications specifically designed to control after-meal blood sugar. One major study tested a drug which slows down the absorption of carbohydrates and reduces blood sugar spikes after eating. The results were remarkable. Even more impressive, the reduction in heart attacks was dramatic. Only one person in the medication group had a heart attack compared to 12 people in the group taking the fake pill. The medication also reduced the risk of developing high blood pressure by 34%. These benefits came specifically from controlling after-meal blood sugar, not from improving HbA1c or fasting glucose. But you don't necessarily need medications to control after-meal blood sugar. Simple changes in what you eat and when you eat can make a huge difference. Eating smaller portions, choosing foods that don't cause big blood sugar spikes, and taking short walks after meals can all help keep those dangerous post-meal numbers in a healthy range. The timing of when you check your blood sugar also matters. Most people only check their fasting blood sugar in the morning, but this misses the most important information. Checking your blood sugar 1 to 2 hours after eating gives you a much better picture of how your body is really handling glucose throughout the day. Recent research suggests that keeping after-meal blood sugar below 140 milligrams per deciliter is crucial for preventing complications. But many people with diabetes regularly see numbers of 200, 250 or even 300 milligrams per deciliter after eating. These extreme spikes are like tiny heart attacks happening several times every day. The good news is that focusing on after-meal blood sugar gives you immediate feedback about your choices. If you eat a large bowl of pasta and your blood sugar shoots up to 250, you know that meal was problematic. But if you eat a smaller portion with vegetables and lean protein and your blood sugar only rises to 130, you know you made a good choice. This real-time information helps you learn what works for your body. Understanding after-meal blood sugar also explains why some people develop diabetes complications even when their HbA1c looks good. If someone has severe blood sugar spikes after eating but very low blood sugar between meals, their average might look normal. But the damage from those spikes is still happening every single day. The research is clear. While HbA1c remains important for overall diabetes management, after-meal blood sugar may be the more powerful predictor of who stays healthy and who develops serious complications. By focusing on what happens after you eat, you can take control of the most dangerous aspect of diabetes and dramatically improve your chances of living a long, healthy life. This information should change how we think about diabetes care. Instead of just aiming for a good HbA1c number, We should be paying much more attention to those crucial hours after every meal when our blood sugar either stays controlled or spikes to dangerous levels. Consult your healthcare professional before changing your medication or lifestyle. Do not forget to click the like button and subscribe. On the screen, you see an essential video for you. Thanks very much for watching this video. References are in the comments section. See you in the next video.